Are you leaving? Are you getting ready to leave? Are you preparing for the big departure, no matter where it is? Are you, now I'm not talking about leaving your dog and leaving your family and your responsibilities. I'm talking about, are you in a place right now where you're getting ready to go on the big trip? Or maybe it's going to be a permanent trip like me. You know, you're now living on the bike and leaving all the time. For me, preparing for the departure is like a constant thing. And if I go back to my first time, then I can relate and I can use some of the tools, you know, that I used on that first time out, not just on the bike, but from the first time I left home, the first time I was divorced and out there by myself, trying to, you know, restart my life, and everything, every element, every aspect of it. And people ask me all the time, how do you know, isn't it a bummer all the time, like moving from place to place and saying goodbye? And I will say that is the downside. So if you're getting ready to leave on the big trip, I'm going to go through some of the downfalls and some of the good things, and some of the things that actually help me keep going and not stop. And not just stop riding, because I will have to stop riding the bicycle someday, but the whole aspect of keeping going and keeping the good attitude toward the horizon. But the first thing for me was the first day. It was just the first day for me. And every single time when I went somewhere, it was that after that first day I started to feel better. But one of the things I go through these days is I visit people, and then, you know, it'd be like a day. Sometimes I stay for a couple of weeks and do a project with somebody, but I'm always saying goodbye. And I don't like that part. That's the part that's tough in this lifestyle. Seeing my kids, and you know, they're all grown up and everything, but just saying goodbye to my folks. And any friends that I visit, I don't like that part. Now, I know there's people here that probably love that part. And there's a little bit of me, depending on who I'm visiting, that's like, okay, yeah, it's great, see you, thank you, thanks for the hospitality, but it's good to keep moving and not get kind of stuck in a certain vibration or a certain, you know, that's, everybody else has their life. So that's the part that's a little sticky for me, is saying goodbye. But now I'm going to go back to like the very first time I did my big trip was alone, my solo trip on a bike. Now I've done lots of mountaineering alone and stuff, but the bike trip was different. I'd always been with a buddy or a friend, and this first trip that I went on alone was liberating, and it's where I kind of decided this is what I was going to do. And it was worth it. I could do anything I wanted. I could go any direction I wanted. I could change my plan. I could eat where I wanted to. There is that beauty. And sure, there's that lonely time in there. I admit that, and I think anyone would. But I enjoy my time alone out there. And after a lot of years of being around a lot of people in kind of a high energy situation, job and business, I'm glad to be where I am now. I'm glad I made that departure. And a lot of times I'll stay somewhere for a really long time, like even South America for a year. And those are the really hard departures. But you made a lot of friends. And I'll say hardest part is that first day out. And this is the big one. After a meal, after your first meal, and you're sitting somewhere, and you've kind of processed that you're out there doing your thing, and then you're back either on the bike or walking or in your car out on your new adventure. It all starts to take shape. A couple nights sleeping out or sleeping in a new environment. That's the other thing, just sleeping in a new place. Change is the hardest part. But I think back to the alternative and where I could be, you know, sitting somewhere just every day, day after day, doing the same thing. I'm not a routine person, never was. And that comes from my background. I was seasonal. I went to Alaska every year, ended up staying there. So anyway, that's how I deal with, this saying goodbye and leaving. And the nice thing is there's always somebody, I'll come around again a year later and visit, or I do projects for people because I'm a carpenter, so I get re-invited to places. But saying goodbye, that's the tough part. You have to be prepared for that part. If you're a woman or a man after, 55, 50, whatever, it doesn't matter. You could be 40. You've got to that place where the kids are all grown up, and there's really like you've maybe retired, or you're tired of your job. You're retired, or you're tired. And that's kind of where the new beginning is. It's like waiting right there. And I understand if that's not the life for you, or this isn't, and maybe just that routine and having that security of that home and that bed every night is what you prefer. And I love that. Yeah, I get that completely. And that's important. There are times when I miss that. But I do get in a situation where I'll go, all right, well, or doesn't matter where I am, whatever country, even if it's here, and I'll hunker down for a while and do projects. But again, I got to finally get back on and start moving. Movement is what saves my life, I feel. Keeps me healthy. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. We'll be talking to you in the next one.